All right, what's going on, everybody? It's Cashflow Chronicles. Time for us to get it in because here at Cashflow Chronicles, we talk about one thing, and that is cash flow. We're going to tell you how to get that cash flow up because we know this, that cash flow is king, not credit. It is all about one thing, and that is cha-ching. It's about that money in your pocket. So every single day, we're coming here at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern to tell you how to get your cash flow up. All right. So today we have an amazing show for you. We're going to be talking about how Dame Dash has partnered with Eddie Melton, the new mayor of Gary, Indiana, my hometown. Well, can't say hometown, but anyway, where I'm at now, it's going to be the city that rises from the ashes. It is the best comeback story ever in the U.S. history of cities, according to Dame Dash and Eddie Melton. And I can't wait for us to talk about this right here. Now, if you guys are here, I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook, I'm all over the place. So I need you to hit me up with some hearts, share this out, and let's get started. When we start talking about the city of Gary, Indiana, you guys, it got a bad rep. Like it just does. Gary, Indiana has a reputation of being, the murder capital of the world one time. I think that's really the last reputation that it had. But before then, it was the home of, Michael Jackson and the whole family, the Jackson Five, Janet Jackson, the whole Jackson thing, right? But guys, we're also, known for the big dog, Glenn Robinson, being here. Jackie Joyner Kersey actually came out of Gary, Indiana. There's so many great things that came right out of the city of Gary, Indiana. Matter of fact, it's arguably the first city that ever had a black mayor in the country or in our country of the United States. Now, when I say that, that is to say that said arguably, right? Because if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Columbus, Ohio, or Cincinnati, Ohio, one of them, or Cleveland. I think it was Cleveland, Ohio. They had the election on the same day, and they both had black mayors to win. I believe they called the election first in Ohio before they did in Indiana. So technically, Gary has the second black mayor in the country, but it was on the same day. So we're just going to go ahead and call it that Gary, Indiana had one of the first black mayors in the country ever, right after the civil rights movement. And, since you guys, we're talking history, right after the civil rights movement, what happened? Well, you had a lot of tension between the blacks and the whites. And at that time, Gary, Indiana had 200,000 people in this city. I want you guys to think about this now. 200,000 people in the city of Gary, Indiana. And this was in the 70s. I remember my father talking to me when we already moved to Gary, Indiana. We were living in Martin, Tennessee at the time. And my dad was like, we're going to go to an all-black city. This was in 81, maybe 80. I was like 5 or 6, but I still remember my father talking to me. He's like, we're going to go to an all-black city. There's a black mayor, and there's great things happening in the city, and blah, yada, yada. And we moved to Gary, Indiana when I was in first grade. In first grade, I went to Williams School over there, and then I was here for a couple of years. And be honest with you, I wasn't really doing anything productive at that age. But I was on the wrong track. Just being honest with you, I was a good student, but I was always in trouble at school. So anyway, regardless of that, since that time, you had a lot of people left Gary, Indiana, and they did not look like me. A lot of people left the city of Gary, Indiana, and they formed another town called Maryville, Indiana, and we had what was called white flight, and it has left the city like abandoned, like poof, right? And we believe, argumentatively, that one of the major tax bases in this city, Gary, Indiana, is the steel mill. If you don't know, the steel mill, U.S. Steel, produces the largest amount of steel in the world. Well, maybe not now, but at that time was the largest steel mill in the world. We produced more steel out of Gary, Indiana than any other place in the world was right here out of Gary, Indiana. Gary, Indiana had the #1 school system in the world. In the world, Gary, Indiana had the #1 school system. Had the #2 water system in the world. Gary, Indiana. And then it was like, why? All of the white people during this tension time in the 70s, literally fled to Maryville, left their homes, left their businesses. Many of them burned them down, got the insurance money, and left to go to a different city. And that city now is doing very well, called Maryville, Indiana. They annexed the city, and yeah. And ever since then, you guys, it has been going down, 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 because the city has to have revenue. It has to have commerce. It has to have what? Cash flow. The city got to have cash flow, you guys. Just like you got to have cash flow, the city has to have cash flow as well. And so now the city is now down to like 69,000 people. When I got here, it was 100,000 people still. And so I got here in 2010, got back in 2010. It's now 2024. So over the last 14 years, we've lost 40,000 people. That is 40% of your population, or 31% of your population. That is a huge decline. And then, of course, when the people leave, what happens to the real estate? What happens to everything else? It drops, and drops. Well, I believe that there is a new day. I'm going to say it again. I believe that there is a new day. I want to show you guys a video clip real quickly. I wasn't planning on playing, so let me go ahead and find it real quickly. And it's going to kind of sum up this show and what I believe is about to happen in the city of Gary, Indiana. Dame Dash. If y'all don't know, Dame Dash was like, Rockaware, Jay-Z, Kanye, like you name it. Dame Dash has had his hands somewhere in the middle of the hip-hop industry. He's shown himself to be an excellent business guy, kind of works behind the scenes, little brazen with his personality, but that's okay. That's what it takes. Sometimes you got to just be brazen. And he's now said, you know what? We're going to make Gary, Indiana the next Black Wakanda. Now, if that's not exciting, I don't know what exciting is. Watch this video.
But everything that we've visualized has happened. And what we're visualizing is what Gary's going to look like by the time he's finished in the next couple of years. So almost, I'm trying to do everybody a favor and put him up on game. So if you could trust that, like when I told you about Jay-Z and you laughed, and I told you about Kanye and you laughed, and I told you about being the boss and you laughed, and I told you about diabetes and you laughed.
Diabetes is not funny.
It wasn't then and it isn't now. But you're laughing. But I'm telling you about Gary. If you missed this wave, and I've told you already not to, you're a dumbass. Period. And don't blame anybody in a couple of years because you missed this wave. I already told you what it is. And I don't have to be nice about it. I don't have to talk in a tone. Just be intelligent. And when you give somebody an opportunity, that means you've given somebody the opportunity to work for.
Guys, Dame Dash literally has just said that if you miss this wave, well, called you kind of an insult. I've been telling people for the longest, about 9 years ago when I finally started buying property here in Gary, Indiana, I started doing webinars. And I was telling people that Gary, Indiana was the number 2 place to invest. We're going to talk about why I believe that a little later. I thought Detroit, Michigan was number 1. Well, you guys, if you don't know as an investor, if you bought property in Detroit 9 years ago and it was going for $500, like a lot of property was going for $500. I mean, I say a lot. I mean, a lot of property was going for $500. Well, now Detroit has burst from the scenes. The downtown has been totally renovated, totally redone. And now the properties that were $500 have skyrocketed to over $100,000. Well, I was buying then in the number 2 city, I believe, to invest in. And consequently, I was buying houses for as little as $300 and $500 and $700 and $1,000. And now I've seen those properties appreciate to over $100,000 as well. So what do we do from here? I'm going to tell you this, that I just believe that it's about to get real right here in the city of Gary, Indiana. And I'm really excited about it. You don't know, Eddie Melton was just inaugurated as mayor in January of this year. Just a few days ago, he's just inaugurated as mayor. We're seeing what he's going to do the first 100 days of his tenure, his campaign. And let's see what happens. Now, Guys, you don't know this is only the second episode here. So I guys need you put something in the chat right quick. Put something in the chat. Number one, so I know you're here. And number two, I also need to know if my volume is a little choppy. I was told last time that my volume was going in and out, in and out, in and out. And I need to make sure that the volume is okay. So if you guys can, put something in the chat right now and just let me know how the audio is. I need to just check that and make sure that we are on track for that. All right. So I'll be checking that out as well. Those are people on Instagram. What's up over here on Instagram? I got Facebook and YouTube over here, and we're excited. So I want to play a clip from the interview that Dame Dash did with the new mayor, Mayor Eddie Melton. And we are going to literally just kind of diagnose this thing. Let's tear it apart. Let's put this thing back together again, because and if y'all can't tell, I'm excited about what's happening in my city, my hometown. I'm excited about the new administration. I'm excited about all the things that are coming right here in the city of Gary, Indiana. Let me go ahead and bring it up, and we're going to go ahead and get this thing started. Let me make sure that it's rewind. Okay, let's see here. Give me 1 second. Why is this not giving me the option? There it is. All right. And let's go. So, guys, this is a podcast interview of Dame Dash and the new mayor, Eddie Melton, talking about that Gary, Indiana is going to be the new Black Wakanda. I'm so excited about this. Get ready for Eddie. Get ready for Eddie. Let's go.
Like, I'm like, wow, you could really see a problem and it could be fixed.
Right.
Other than just talking shit and fucking complaining and
Let me make sure I shared my my sound, you guys. Give me 1 second. I want to make sure I shared the sound with that. Not sure if I did or not. And I did. Well, all right, we'll start where we were.
everyone else for it. All this time, everyone that's been fucking complaining and talking shit about politics, I bet you none of them have lobbied for a law.
Never.
I bet you none of them have actually like talked to their city council or whatever representative and even tried to fix anything they're complaining about. So for me, it became important, number one, to get that mayor and help him get that mayor out of there.
Right.
Because he was stopping economic development within our culture, at least from my perspective, from an outsider looking in. And I knew that if he got in there, that not only would he like...
What he's talking about is the last administration that was here, Jerome Prince. I actually like Mayor Prince. Thought he was a great guy, excellent reputation. Mayor Prince just went through a couple things that were devastating. I know his wife was fighting cancer like the last year of his administration, and he just caught hell from city council. Everything the man tried to do, city council was like, Eddie Melton came along and was like, you know what? We're going to bring change to this city. And the smart thing that he did was start partnering with people who had major influence across the country, like Dame Dash. Now, it's rumored, I don't have any concrete fact, that he's also partnered with people like Mike Epps. He's also partnered with people like Kanye West to make Gary the new Black Wakanda. Why are we talking about this? Because at Cashflow Chronicles, we talk about one thing, and that is cash flow. And if you want to get paid, y'all, you know you want to catch something at the beginning because there's a wave that's coming. And I want you to get in at the beginning instead of trying to get in at the top. Because if you get in at the beginning, you're going to get paid. But let's go ahead and check it out. Y'all ready? Let's go.
Do what's right, but do it in a way that was forward thinking with respect to the history. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all he talks about. Because he's a smart dude. He could be a CEO of any company or run his own.
That's Eddie Melton there, you guys.
That's what he was like, yo, I could go get this money. But but I can't leave Gary. And I'm like, well, we're gonna stay in Gary. Let's do something, help everybody. Let's get some money. Let's get some.
Yeah, let's figure it out.
It's like Black Wakanda. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So anyway, he did like a
Is it? What do y'all think? Y'all think that we can do a Black Wakanda, like a real? Y'all remember when gosh, I can't think of the name of the movie now. Black Panther came out, right? And everybody was like, Wakanda, right? Wakanda forever, right? Y'all remember? Like, we were so excited about the idea of having our own Well, now you have people saying, you know what, we're not going to talk about it. We're not just talking about it. We're actually going to put a new mayor in. It's going to pass policies, going to actually do new things. What do y'all think about that? Do y'all think we can do it? Do y'all think we can have a Black Wakanda? I'm talking about where the school board, the transportation system, the fire department, the police department, the healthcare, everything is ran by us. I think, you got DC, but DC still is kind of mixed. You got Atlanta. Atlanta's more Black, but still kind of mixed. Can we do a Black Wakanda? Now, this is the great thing that I really like about this podcast that he talked about. He talked about how it's not a race thing, it's a poverty thing, which I agree and commend him for 1000%. It's not a race thing, it's a poverty thing. And there's Black people that's broke and white people that's broke. Well, we'll just let him talk about it, but let's go. All right. What I need y'all comments in the chat. Tell me, what do you think? Can we do a Black Wakanda? Is that possible? Let's go.
Marketing campaign out there.
All right.
That was similar to
is it
a campaign
TT?
for an album.
I see you, baby. Yes, we can do it.
So
I know you had a hand in that, Dane.
Well, I designed the creative, but actually, like when I went, he had every billboard and every yard sign. They had an album with videos from everybody around saying, "Get ready for Eddie. Get ready for Eddie." Like,
I love it.
And he came in there when we was going down the day of, because after we had the plan, he was like, "Yo, we're gonna announce it," because he helped open the casino, and he announced his.
So stop there. I'm gonna keep stopping and just comment. Right? He said we just opened a new casino. Now, if y'all don't know anything about infrastructure, please understand that it just doesn't happen overnight. But when you start seeing the signs of new infrastructure, know that things are already in place. He said we just opened a new casino. There's a Hard Rock land-based casino that just opened in Gary, Indiana. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find it for you. Yes, the Hard Rock invested more than $300 million in May of 2021 in Gary, Indiana. $300 million. You do not put a casino and put $300 million in a place unless you know that there's something coming. Pay attention. Pay attention. Let me just I just gotta talk for a minute, right? I'm so tired. I'm so tired of us complaining about gentrification, right? It happens. I get it. It ain't right. But guys, we have the opportunity to literally change the narrative. We have the opportunity to change the narrative. What does that mean? It means that we have the opportunity to change the narrative in our own communities. If you're a Black watching this, you have the opportunity to change the narrative in your own community. Watch this. You've seen them in Compton and Harlem and every major city across the country. You've seen them gentrifying it. And you know what we did in the barbershops, the beauty shops, and the phone calls on social media? Oh, they're gentrifying our city. Y'all, it's for sale. If it's for sale, why did we not buy it? And then here's the bad part. Many of us didn't have to buy it. We already owned it. We had to sell it for them to be able to do what we did. But we'll do what they did. But we have to have vision. Guys, you can see opposition. Oh, it's opposition. You can see the crime rates. You can see the murder rates. You can see the healthcare. You can see the food desert. You can see the cars parked in the corner, the guys hanging out in the streets, right? All that kind of stuff. You can see that stuff, and it's there. Or you can see opportunity, that every hood was within a 7-mile radius of downtown if it wasn't downtown. Every hood was located near the casino, not casinos, but the event venues, whether the convention center or the stadiums, right next door where all the commerce was taking place. And they said, wait a minute, it's off the highway, it's downtown, it's near all this commerce, it's next to the stadiums, next to the convention center, the hood. This is prime property. And we sold it, and they came in and took it. What he's saying is, we can own it. We can have it. It's not anybody else's fault that gentrification is happening in our community except us. We just got to have the vision to do it. Well, we finally, and I'm excited about it. We finally got somebody who's saying, you know what? We are going to make sure that we are the next people who are going to be able to capitalize. That's the word I'm looking for. Capitalize on this movement. Let's go.
He was running, and I announced it. I introduced it, and then on the day of, I came through, and we went to that's the polls where they vote.
Yeah,
The people that were there to support the other dude with the shirts were taking their shirts off and taking pictures with us.
Can you imagine that? Watch this. Can you imagine, like, okay, I got a shirt on. I'm polling for somebody. Like, woo, go my candidate, go my candidate. And I walk up and I see Eddie Melton, the guy who's running, and I see Dame Dash, and literally people start stripping, taking off their t-shirt of the guy they were rooting for and putting on a new t-shirt and like, let's take this picture. What? Like, literally, like, that's the power of influence. And Eddie Melton was smart enough to go get people who had major influence and say, we need to partner together in our own communities with our own resources, and let's change the narrative. And that's what he keeps saying over and over and over and over and over again. Let's change the narrative of Gary, Indiana. I think Gary, Indiana is a city of opportunity. Me myself, you know, I do, but I'll talk about that in just a second. Let's get back to Dane.
So, you know, now that that's happened, he's made a lot of promises, or at least said he's going to do certain things, and he's a man of his word.
Black Wall Street,
and,
TT.
You know, all it's about is really right now what the first 100 days look like. And with that, I'm going to just pass it on. But I just feel like it's important. Like, I know the last time I was here, I don't remember what I said, but I know I was talking some big shit. And more than likely, my thing is, we all know the problems. Talking about problems without solutions is just trying to trigger somebody and depresses everybody. We have to come with solutions.
Right.
So whatever shit I was talking, here's a solution. Here's an example in real time. No PTSD of complaining about getting abused, but what it looks like to actually solve a problem.
I love it.
So, yeah, we've all seen and heard the panels, the discussions, and the only thing we do at all these, you know, the State of Black America, the State of the Black Union, we've seen all these different things, everything. And guys, I love these people. We had Tyler Smiley at one time. You had Cornel West doing some things. You had Dennis Kimbrough doing some things. I also seen George Frazier, you know, doing some things. But we heard a lot of talk, but are yet to see a movement. Say it again, a lot of talk about the problem. What good is it to talk about a problem unless we talk about the solution? And even when we did talk about a solution, there was nobody there to put action in place. It was all just talk. Well, now you got somebody says, we're not going to talk about it. What we going to do? We going to be about that thing, y'all. We're going to be about that thing. And I'm
Eddie, I know you. I was trying to kind of understand your story. And when you were explaining to me, it's like mind blowing. So I just wanted you to like kind of share your story and also talk about your relationship with Dane.
Yeah. Man, growing up in Gary in the early 90s, a lot of folks may know Gary, quote unquote, as that murder capital of America.
I knew it as that.
Frame, right?
That's all everybody knows.
Yeah, that's
so. I mean, it's two things, and I'm not even going to dwell on that because I'm here to change the narrative on the city. But I have to tell people that story to let them know from where we're going to come from, right? The article, The Morning I Won, had a quote: "Gary's going to rise like a phoenix out of the ashes," and I truly believe that. When you look
Thank you, TT. I didn't know you couldn't hear me. Right. I was saying that we're gonna rise like a city from the ashes. Boy, if that ain't big, I don't know what big is. I'm so excited about this, you guys, because watch this. Black Wall Street is possible still. We talk about all the time Like Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street. But y'all, that was 50 years ago. We got more money, more resources, more elected officials, more everything, and we've yet to do anything major on our own. Can we form the next Black Wall Street right next door to Chicago, Illinois, the third largest city in the country, next door to Chicago, Illinois? If y'all don't know, Gary, Indiana is literally 15 minutes from Chicago, South Side. 90% of my tenants are from Chicago and work in Chicago. 90%. I just think we can do this thing, man. In fact, I don't think we can do it. I know we can do it. It's time for us to get it done.
Look at a city that was built because of one of the world's largest companies, U.S. Steel. That city is 52 square miles. At one point, we had nearly 200,000 people, and right now we have 69,000 people.
All the white people ran off.
All right. So
Fucking white people.
And they took the banks. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
but that's part of that history, right?
Yeah.
Gary, the turnaround of this is why Dame playing a role. Gary's gonna be one of the greatest comeback stories in American history. Just like Detroit, just like Youngstown, Ohio.
Did y'all hear that, man? Gary's gonna be one of the biggest comeback cities in the history. Y'all ready? Get ready for Eddie. Get ready for Eddie. Get ready for Eddie. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Are you ready? Here's the thing. If you don't start coming to Gary, Indiana and start buying something now, you're going to miss the wave. Say it again. Yeah, it's only a matter of time when we start seeing them come in, and investors are already here. I can tell you that now. Several of them are already here, but they don't look like you and me. They're not our complexion. I really want to see a movement of wealth in the Black community because we're the ones who's missing out. For example, right now, we have one of the best economies ever in the history of the United States. But I can tell you many of the people who look like me are not feeling the best economy. We're suffering behind high daycare costs, larger in groceries, gas prices. We're seeing inflation, the weakening of the dollar, and we not have been able to benefit on the best economy ever. Don't miss this local economy that you can get in and change not your life, but the lives of your children and your grandchildren. That's the power of this movement. If you get in, the greatest comeback ever. Everybody likes an underdog. Everybody likes to see a comeback. That's why Rocky was so good. That's why Creed is so good, because everybody likes to see da-da-da, da-da-da, right? Everybody like, oh, he got. Well, y'all, we get to see that in real life in our community. All right, let's go.
At one point, it felt like the world turned its back on that city. All right, the same city that produced Michael Jackson, the Jackson 5, Janet Jackson, Big Dog, Glenn Robinson, and so many others is the same city that's standing today. And with the issues that we hit, from our economy, from white flight, the term that was coined in the early late 60s, to the city that had the first Black mayor in the United States of America, that had the first Black national political convention in 1972.
But hold on. First, that political convention, there's a documentary, and it's so gangster.
It's called Nation Time.
Everybody that was doing anything Black was there.
Yeah.
I gotta look at
that was
Nation
like
Time. I
what you
haven't
would
seen
look
it.
at
I
and
want
be
you guys to
proud
look
and be
at
like,
it.
damn. And they don't even show the visuals of what it looked like and how strong we looked and how cool. Like, who was there? Because I was looking at it, was like, everybody was there.
Now, keep in mind, this is right after the assassination of Dr. King. Coretta Scott King was there. Betty Shabazz, wife of Malcolm X, was there. Jesse Jackson, Harry Belafonte, every national Black leader.
But like the
during
Jacksons
that
was
time.
there.
The Jacksons performed. They were little kids. They were just getting into
Was
their
James
fame.
Brown there? It was like a bunch. It was like,
I think
wow.
James may have came. Yeah. So again, they mixed the culture with politics at that time still.
But did you know about that?
I didn't know
Neither did
about
I.
that.
Did you know about that?
Nope.
Now, why wouldn't we know about that? Because it's such a strong thing in our culture that they don't want us to see.
But I really think that I don't know if they want to share that.
That's what I just said.
Because if they do share that and we do realize that we can't
They
create
be like-
change for ourselves,
But just
then it gets real different for them.
Rewind real quick. Not only will we make change for ourselves, we'll make change for everybody. It's not a color thing. It's an economic social class thing, and they keep us divided to keep us broke. It's a 1% versus a 99% thing. That's black.
Well, you know what? I don't care what you say about Dame. Dame be spitting. Like, he be dropping bars. Did you hear what he just said? He said, man, listen, it's a division thing. They do it to keep us broke. It's the 99% against the 1%. They understand they're outnumbered. So if they ever, they like, if people understood that the 99% ever rose up against the 1% don't stand a chance. So what do? They keep us divided. They bring up all kind of things, religion, sex. They bring up the, you know, the ABCDEFG community, right? They bring up whether you're light skin or dark skin. And even so, and now you got, inside of a micro division, you got, I mean, sort of a macro division, you have micro divisions. Like, so now you got black against white, but then you got black against black. And then you got white versus white from economic standpoint and all this. And so you got so much division, the 1% sit back and say, we'll just let them fight. We'll let them be divided. But Dame was like, nah, man, we ain't doing that. It's not about black or white. It's about economic infrastructure. And if we can ever galvanize all of us against them, well, now the playing fields are level. Spitting bars, man. Y'all catch it.
Black and white. You understand? There's a lot of broke white people out there and a lot of broke black people. But black people have just caught a little more of a raw deal because we're not from here. We're imported. You understand what I'm saying?
And you even see it in schools and legislation where they don't want us to teach certain quote unquote history. I had to fight a fight, and actually the OSG helped me fight a fight. Off school grounds, they tried to stop teaching black history in the state of Indiana.
Wait, no, you want to know why? They said it made white people uncomfortable to know what their grandparents did.
Well, we're going to talk about it. I really want to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it today. I think I'm talking about it tomorrow. But Elon Musk, if y'all buy a Tesla, just turn on your black card. Just if you, I like Teslas. I was planning on getting a Tesla. I think it's just a good everyday car. You know, I can get in my other cars for when I, want to, do the thing, right? But a good everyday car, I was going to get a Tesla, save me on gas mileage, maintenance. The warranty's ridiculous. I will spit on a Tesla now. If you don't know what Elon Musk has said, just Google diversity, equity, and inclusion statements from Elon Musk. He just literally just told us, I don't like black people. Elon Musk said HBCUs produce dummies, and this is why airplanes are crashing. I ain't making this up, y'all. He put that in writing on Twitter. You just call black people stupid? Because Dr. King came out of a HBCU. Medgar Evers came out of HBCU. Maya Angelou came out of HBCU. Like almost everybody that you can name came out of a HBCU. And you calling us dumb. Okay, we'll talk about that later. Let's get back to Gary.
And they also, hold on, he called me tight. He said, yo, black people don't respect education, so they don't deserve it. Wow.
There's so many narratives.
I'm not being funny, guys, and this is not a racist show, but we are going to point out racism. And I'll just say for the record, we doing this under my channel, Financial Moses, because Be Free University is not tied to this at all. I'm just going to tell y'all now. My staff was like, George, you kind of radical. We don't want you to get canceled. If you get canceled, it might affect our companies, or do this under your own brand. I'm the CEO. I own it. But my staff was like, we're nervous because I'm going to call a spade a spade. It just is. History is history. Whether it's good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, we tell the truth. We don't rewrite history so it's favorable. We learn from history by telling the truth. And if your granddaddy was a bigot and a racist, then your granddaddy was a bigot and a racist. And nobody wants to, I don't want nobody to know what great granddaddy did. Your great granddaddy was a bigot and a racist. I'm sorry. Make sure that your children are not. So let's learn what your great granddaddy did. We're going to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Like, you want to tell the bad things about Black America, but you won't talk about the great things that Black America has contributed to a country in which we didn't even belong, that we wasn't even considered human. We were 3/5 of a person, but we still made some of the greatest contributions than any other race in this country, including the economic fuel that brought America to the height of the empire that it is today, where do you think the cotton came from? Where do you think the tobacco came from? Because the cotton gin and the cotton mills and the cotton is what brought America to where we are today. Export and import. Like, we ain't gonna do in the civil rights history. All I'm saying is that when you control the city, you control the curriculum. When you control the curriculum, you control what our kids know and don't know. You don't need permission from nobody. Somebody say nobody. Nobody, right? I feel like a Keith Sweat spirit coming up on me. Nobody, right? Nobody. I should cry with it though. Keith would cry with that thing. Nobody. Y'all know that Keith thing, right? Nobody can tell you what you can and cannot do because you have control. We got the chance to do it in Gary, Indiana. Let's go.
Like
that's mind blowing.
Bro, no,
somebody said that out loud.
He be on the floor like, ho, now watch your mouth. Like it gets crazy in there. It ain't no joke.
That is
like you should send him some of this shit. Like he be in there like, yo, I'm a senator, but I might have to fuck somebody else. For real, they be like unloosening ties and all that shit. I'd be like, yo, you want me to come down there?
Don't fight on
at the end of the day. If you want to make change, you got to change policy. You got to change laws. Long-term substantive change in our communities, economics, quality of life, environment. We have to play in that field. If we just sit back and act like just let them do it to us, then it's going to happen to us. That's where I just picked up the ball and I said, fuck it, I'm going to just jump in. And that's when I started to run.
Did the man cut?
2016, I was on the state board of education. I didn't even want to do it at that time. It was Governor Mike Pence. Appointed me, and I turned it down. So he kept calling. They reached out. They had to appoint a Democrat. So I accepted it at the end of the day, became a state board of education member. And that's when I learned. They told me, they said, if you want to know what's going on, follow the money. And when I started following the money and realizing the reason why they're testing our children so much is because somebody making money off the books. Somebody making money off grading the tests.
wow.
Somebody making money off making a test. I said, I get it. I see where we're going with this now. So I ran 2016, same year, Trump was on the ballot, Hillary's on the ballot. That's on election night, I had mixed emotions because I had won, and at the same time, I knew like, damn, what's about to happen to the country? So that was my first year.
That's amazing.
What's really fucked up is how politics are ran in general in this country in a two-party system. You don't think?
They're not going to start
my biggest
translating
problem with our
what's about to happen.
country's politics is either you're Democrat or you're Republican, and I think people blindly vote because of that.
Well, that's the purpose of doing that. Is to divide.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. If me and you are fighting for the same block together and it's good, if I hear that you fighting, I'm not gonna like fight against you. I'm gonna fight with you. We all fighting for the same country. So to fight, to do something, to have a war, to fix a war, will never ever mean there'll be anything but war. And that's a strategic thing. Is any division, even in that same conversation, because what I like what he does is, as a person, you can't know everything about everything. But if you're going to deal with a certain subject matter, he's going to go do the research. So when he gets on that floor, he's karate kicking motherfuckers. For real. So that's why he listens. So it was about education. He called Dennis, who runs the OSG, which is like 200-300 principals. And before this conversation, I would have said black principals. But he was like, you got to stop saying black principals because it puts us in a box. They already know we're going to say black principal. And it scares people. It's economically challenged. Because it's not about black and white, it's about broke.
Right.
It's broke people. You know what I'm saying? Period. And in that conversation,
are y'all seeing what he's doing though, right? I need y'all to play politics for a minute. On one hand, you're saying that you're gonna make Gary, Indiana the black Wakanda. Right? But on the other hand, he's saying it's not about black or white, it's about broke. What is he doing? He's making, number one, he's been inclusion. Because anytime you start saying that black people are gonna do their own thing and blah, yada, 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 you get some red flags up there. You get people fighting against you, and that will never work because Scary needs help from the state. And if we say, well, we black folk, we don't need your help. We gonna build our own black chocolate city. It's gonna be chocolate city. Y'all remember when Mayor Nagin down in New Orleans said that? Well, it wasn't long before he was in jail, right? Chocolate city. You have to have inclusion in order to get the resources that you're going to need. I love the way that they're fixing it. It's like, hey, this is for us, by us, but understand that we are going to need some help from the state. Guys, you understand that the state can just like literally form laws that can block you from doing several things or getting resources to do several things, or like get the tax abatements that is going to need for major corporations to come inside of here and come to Gary. That comes from downstate. Money to knock down the blight and start knocking down the houses that need to be done. That money comes from downstate to do the roads and the infrastructure that we're going to need. That money's going to come from downstate. And you can't be like, well, we're going to do it by ourselves. They're literally forming the narrative to make sure that they're being, inclusionary of everybody right here. They're still doing politics, even doing the podcast. I just got to check it out. Here it is. It's almost over right now.
People are scared of what they don't know. So in that conversation, Dennis was like, so y'all trying to put a curriculum up there. Well, where's the curriculum? Has anybody seen it? No, it's not made yet. So that's why everybody's scared. So they don't know what it is.
All right. So that's the end of that one right there, right? So we're just going to come right back. And I guess tomorrow, you guys, I'm going to show some other clips from the full podcast. That was like a quick 12-minute clip that I found on YouTube. But I want to show, I'm going to clip out some really good parts, like when he came back and he did this, right? And for y'all who wasn't here when it first started, when he came back and did this.
But everything that we've visualized has happened. And what we're visualizing is what Gary's going to look like by the time he's finished in the next couple of years. So almost, I'm trying to do everybody a favor and put him up on game. So if you could trust that, like when I told you about Jay-Z and you laughed, and I told you about Kanye and you laughed, and I told you about being the boss and you laughed, and I told you about diabetes and you laughed.
Diabetes is not funny.
It wasn't then and it isn't now. But you're laughing. But I'm telling you about Gary. If you missed this wave, and I've told you already not to, you're a dumbass, period. And don't blame anybody in a couple of years because you missed this wave. I already told you what it is. And I don't have to be nice about it. I don't have to talk in a tone. Just be intelligent. And when you give somebody an opportunity, that means you've given somebody the opportunity to work for.
Right. So, y'all, what he's saying is that, listen, I've done this before. I'm proven. I got a great track record. I brought you Jay-Z. I brought you Kanye. I brought you the boss. I brought you Rockaware. And everybody didn't see it then. But what happened? It blew up. And I'm telling you now about Gary, Indiana. And if I'm telling you in advance and you miss this wave after my proven track record, and I have the mayor here and we're partnering together to bring Gary, Indiana black, that we're going to build a black Wakanda, and you missed this wave, well, he said it. You are dumb. Boop. I didn't say it. It's what he said. But I will say this. I will agree. Guys, I have been buying property in Gary, Indiana for a very long time. And I want to share you with you guys just for a minute. Let me see if I can get it up, though. Let's see. Let's see if I can get it up. 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 Okay. Let's do this right here. Oops. Let's change the background. Sorry. Boom. Well, still lit off. That's okay. All right. So I've been buying property in Gary, Indiana for a very long time.
How would you like to pay $500 for $100,000 house using no credit?
$500.
Even if you have no real.
Right. And I can just scroll down real quickly, you guys, and show you. These are the keynote speakers that we're going to have there. But I want to show you some of the testimonials from my previous conferences. But I want to show you. I bought this house right here for $500. Today is worth over $100,000. I bought this house right here for $4,500. Today is worth over $105,000. I bought this house for $5,000. Today is worth $125,000. I bought this house for $300. Today is worth $120,000. I bought this house for $1,200. Today is worth about $60,000. I bought this one for $1,600. Today is worth about, actually, I just had an appraisal done. It's worth $90,000. I bought this property for $2,500. It's worth about $110,000. And that number is wrong because the house next door just appraised for $140,000. This property right here is a triplex. I bought for $2,500. It's worth $225,000. I bought this house for $300, worth $105,000. Are you guys getting the picture here? Are you guys seeing the picture? And these property values are only going to go up. Guys, think of it this way. The average property value in the United States right now was $400,000, which means at $100,000, you're still paying 400% less than the average property value. And then I'm coming in getting them at $500 and $300. Now, I had to fix some of these up, like the triplex. I put a new roof on it, put a new boiler in it. I might have about $15,000 in it. It was a tenant in it when I bought it. And the tenant is still in there today. In my triplex, it was converted over to a single family. So they got 3 generations literally living in the same house. I'm not playing. They made it into like a compound, but they pay their rent on time, right? But let's keep going. You got this one is a duplex I bought for $4,500, worth about $200,000. I bought this duplex for $1,500, worth about $210,000. I bought this one for $500, worth about $90. I bought this one for $500, worth about $60. I bought this one for $500, worth about $80. I bought this one for $500, worth about $80. Guys, can you see? Because I got a conference coming up right now. I'm going to be in Chicago, Illinois. If y'all don't know, Chicago's only 15 minutes from Gary, Indiana. We're going to meet in Chicago on the Magnificent Mile. We're going to meet for 3 days. I want you guys to come and actually see how we're going to change the narrative of Gary, Indiana. We want to partner as well with the city. We want to be a part of this movement. And I'm going to show you how to buy property for $500 at a tax sale. And we're going to be going through the live list. This is not where we're just going to be meeting together, just be meeting. We're going to go through the live auction list. See, the auction is going to be in April. The auction is going to be in April. And let me see if I can bring this up right quick so you guys can see just in case. Did I not upload it? Let's see. The auction is going to be in April. We're going to be meeting in March. Here it is right here. The auction is going to be in Learn How to Buy a House for $500. It's a 3-day live. I put apprenticeship, even though it's a conference, but I put apprenticeship because it's probably the best thing to put on there. It's not a conference. A conference, you sit down and learn. We're literally going to be scrubbing a list, finding the best properties, finding the best ROI, returning your investment. Should you buy this property? Should you not buy this property? What is the rent? What is it going to rent for? What is it worth right now? What is the ARV? What is the ARV on this particular property? What is how much is the rehab cost on here? How much did you bid on it? And then we actually say, okay, now that we got the numbers right, now we're going to go get on a bus and go look at the property. What? We're doing a city tour with it as well. Yes, in Gary, Indiana. We're going to drive over from Chicago on a luxury bus. Don't worry, we're going to keep you comfortable, right? On a luxury bus, we're going to drive over from Chicago, Illinois, over to Gary, Indiana, and we're going to take a property tour of everybody's property that they picked. And then you get to get out and look at it, knock on the doors, see the real estate. Let me show you guys real quickly, what you are going to get at this particular conference right here in Gary, Indiana. Let's just check it out.
Real estate investing experience. Now, I know it seems too far-fetched. I know it sounds like it's too good to be true. This is what I've been doing over the last 9 years. That took me from my very first investment in a house of $100 into over a $15 million enterprise of a portfolio in real estate. But not only have I done it, I have now shown my students how to do this, and they have bought over 3,000 properties worth over $300 million. We're almost at a half bill. We're going to get there, and I want you to get there with us. We all know that 90% of millionaires have a real estate portfolio. So what if you could do the same thing, but only starting at $500, allowing you to grow so much faster, allowing you to have the minimum risk, but also have the maximum reward? This is what we're doing, showing people, whether you are experienced or inexperienced investors, how to turn pennies into property. This is exactly what the Penny to Property Conference is all about in Chicago, Illinois. So now I want you to imagine with me, you've been able to turn as little as $500 into over $100,000. Now you tell me, how many times would you do this? Yes, I know, right? As many times as possible. And it's exactly what I've been doing, my students have been doing, and I want you to do it too. Now, when you get to this conference, I want to let you know, this is not just an ordinary conference. Do not think you're just going to come and sit and learn. No, we are hands-on. We think people learn better by doing, not just sitting and listening. So we're literally going to actually show you step by step and hands-on. This conference is designed to take you from being a student to an investor. This conference is designed to make you a millionaire. This is a hands-on conference where you will have the real experience of going and doing the research, but then also going into the field, looking at the properties, touching the properties, talking to tenants, talking to neighbors, examining the real estate, assessing the property, estimating the rehab. All of this is going to be at the Pennies to Property Conference.
I'm telling y'all now, guys, it's not just a regular conference. This is going to be outstanding. And then on top of that, guys, we got Flame Newton there. It's going to actually show you how to do business credit. How do you buy a property in your business name? Not your name, and then get a business loan so it doesn't affect your credit, right? Got it. Pastor Amos Howard, if you don't know, Pastor Amos Howard out of Nashville, Tennessee, has bought up half of Nashville. He's a guys, that's my brother, by the way. I got a little money, but he got that major money, 10 times more than what I have, guys. I'm going to tell his net worth, but I can just tell you that it's up there. It's going to be telling you how to become your own bank using real estate. We have Kelsey Deneen there and from Midland Self-Directed IRA. It's going to be showing you how to use your retirement to go buy property. We have Don, who's actually the auctioneer of the Lake County auction, will be there. Mike Kovachkov, an attorney, the biggest tax lien attorney in this area, the most experienced tax lien attorney in this area, is going to be there. And then Al Watson, who is a lender. He's a private lender. He's going to be telling you how to get approved for the loan. Is going to be there. Everybody's going to be there. Right? Everybody's going to be there. And I want you to be there too. Guys, just look below. Go to Pennies to Property. You guys can go to Pennies to Property and go Pennies to Property /conference 2024 and go check that out right there. All right, guys, what is it about? It's about cash flow. And I want you guys to be able to get on board. I've already been doing it. This is not something where you're getting somebody who's just talking about it. I've already done it. Let me show you how I've been doing it. Bought over 150 properties for an average of $900. No credit, no experience. It's amazing. And then we got the results. I show you public record. This ain't something I'm like, oh, I did it. No, I show you public record. Then I go even further. I have over like 12 testimonials from people that's like, man, this is the truth. I show you the properties that people have bought. I'm showing you every single thing. You don't want to miss this. This is a chance to change your life. Because 5 years from now, when Eddie gets done and Dame Dash gets done, changing the narrative of Gary, Indiana, well, then you're going to want to buy, but the prices are going to be too high. Y'all like them bars, right? Y'all seen that? Y'all check that out. Then you're gonna want to buy, but the price is gonna be too high. Woo! Yeah, I'm going in the studio after a minute. Y'all didn't know I had those skill sets, right? All right. Anyway, that's what it is, guys. We're talking about Cashflow Chronicles right here. What is it? Right now, we're talking about the Black Wakanda, the movement, the next wave that's happening in the Black community, and I believe that we're going to turn the whole city around. It's a city that's going to rise from the ashes and it's going to take ownership. So you should own it. You missed your local area. You missed it when they gentrified your area. You missed it. But it's not too late to take advantage of the same thing. But now we're not going to watch other people gentrify it. We're going to come gentrify our own communities. Now, that ain't what's right. I don't know what right is. Guys, this has been our second episode of Cashflow Chronicles. I'm getting a little better at this thing. And we're only going to get better and better and better and gooder and gooder and gooder as we go. Guys, please come in with me on tomorrow at 7 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Eastern, right? For Kingdom Keys, we give you kingdom principles in the morning. Right now, we're talking about the secrets of the heart in the morning. And then I'll be back at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern for Cashflow Chronicles. Every single day, we're doing 7 a and 7 p, or 8 a and 8 p, depending on where you are in the country, or it could be like 4 and 4 if you're on PST time. All right. So either way it goes, every single day we're here to bring you Cashflow Chronicles. Tomorrow, yeah, of course, we're going to talk about this conference. We got to, fill this thing up. But I want to talk about this Elon Musk thing. And what exactly does DEI stands for? It's not stand for, but what does it mean in our communities? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. There's attack on the Black community over and over and over again. Guys, you've seen it with our voting rights. They gutted the Voting Rights Act. They gutted that bill, the Supreme Court. Then they came right back behind that. And then they said affirmative action in colleges. They gutted that. Then they came right back. And then they said, oh, by the way, CRT and Black history won't be taught in our schools. So they're gutting the education. And now they're gutting diversity, equity, and inclusion. If y'all don't see the systematic movement that's coming to set Black people back over and over and over again, well, then something's wrong. We have to know it, see it, and then talk about it, and then find solutions to be about it, and then take action. That's what Cashflow Chronicles is all about. Let's go. Guys, if you don't know, do the registration. Go register right now. It's 25% off, early bird special. Go get your tickets. Let's go. Until then, you guys, we're going to leave you with this. And what is it? It is cash flow right here at Cash